Hello, viewers, and welcome to the latest episode of the Huddle. We've got David Mann here, the CEO of Swintt, a returning guest. David, thanks for joining us again.
Thanks for having me on again, Tim. It's always a pleasure.
Likewise, I spoke to you on the Huddle around about a year ago, which was just under a year since you took the role of CEO. So looking back on the past 12 months, how do you reflect?
It's definitely been an experience. It's been a really fast paced 12 months for sure. Looking at everything that we've done in Swintt, the projects that we've had internally to get over the line, entering into new markets with the new customers, and getting no doubt game studio that we're going to discuss more as well. It's just been a crazy 12 months, but I've really enjoyed it. I really learned a lot, grown a lot, and I think that our team has really managed to achieve a hell of a lot as well.
Growth being a key word, it's a time of real growth in the industry at the moment. And when you were last on the Huddle, you spoke quite a simple aim of getting more customers in more markets. If you were to kind of look back and reflect on the past 12 months, how do you think you achieved that aim? And maybe if you could score yourself out of 10.
Yes. So to start, I guess, looking at the last 12 months, we have twice broke our sales records in terms of signing up new customers. One of the advantages of having a really strong sales department in the company, and then managing to get these customers live, of course, then it takes a little bit more time, but it allows us to have a consistent rollout of new customers constantly all year long. So it's been really, really strong for us in that regard. Entering into new markets at the same time then just widens the doors and it enables us to get more and more customers, as well as leveraging new markets with our existing partners. So how have we managed? Out of 10, I think it's quite an obvious number to go for a 7, so I'll say 7.5. I think there's definitely room in what we could improve. I think looking at if we can launch some of these customers faster that we have signed, but that's not to diminish the really great efforts that the team have put in that time. We've just had some other stuff internally, of course, that we've had to prioritize as well.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I always like hearing an honest number because you're not telling me it's 11 out of 10 and that, everything went, there's no room for improvement, because in life and in business there's always room for improvement, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think that it makes sense to be grounded in that regard. But I have to definitely say, what we have achieved in the last 12 months is fantastic. And I'm really proud of the team in so many different departments to get us to where we are today. So really, it's definitely impressive. I'll give the team 10 out of 10. I'll take a 7.5 myself.
Fantastic. I mean, on that note, still, as you say, kind of several high-profile deals. A couple that stood out to me. I mean, there were a few, but SuprNation in the UK and Hard Rock in the Netherlands. Maybe if you could sort of tell us about those two deals specifically.
Yeah, so these are quite recent. SuprNation in the UK, we've been working to really get our footprint going in the UK market, and we've got quite a good close relationship with the guys at SuprNation. So we are very excited to be able to take our games into the UK with them after already having the games live across their other markets. And then Hard Rock in the Netherlands, we've been working on this for some time as well. Obviously, the operator has a really good brand. They can leverage this in many ways across the world. And we're definitely very excited to be working with them in the Netherlands. It's a really strong market for us. It's been core since some of our game portfolio has a land-based presence within the market. So for us, super important to be with some of the coolest brands within the Dutch market as well.
We mentioned, obviously, I asked you about the UK and the Netherlands, and in an interview with Gambling Insider magazine earlier this year, and also we kind of spoke at last time on the Huddle, I remember Germany was a key focus for you guys, and Ontario, obviously. And it was interesting in the magazine, you said that players in Germany and the Netherlands, they kind of gravitate towards more kind of classic slots. But those in the UK and Ontario looking for more kind of players looking for more cutting edge. Just wondering if you kind of, it's interesting to me I guess the different trends within the different markets.
Yeah, exactly. One of the advantages of being in so many markets is you get to understand market trends even more than what you can research beforehand. Our portfolio has for a long time catered for German players, Dutch players with these classic style slots. But this is part of the reason we made the acquisition of Elysium Studios. earlier this year. That allowed us to basically get something a bit more modern, a bit more Northern European into the space, and it's proven a success for us immediately. We can see the numbers really starting to pick up consistently, month on month. All KPIs are being smashed every month, and it's really, really exciting. We had the advantage of spending so long working on getting the German land-based style content out there that we've now been able to leverage those existing partnerships with the Elysium content. So side by side, we have a great variety of games, and allows us to then work more effectively in different markets like Ontario as well. Yeah.
Yeah, Ontario, definitely want to. In fact, that's a great segue. Was planning to ask you on that market specifically. So, I mean, when we talk to people about Ontario, a lot of praise for kind of the regulatory framework and how they've gone about it there. We know the market's doing well just from the numbers that are coming out. I mean, compared to a lot of US states, Ontario sports betting is really high, but obviously you've got iGaming as well, which a lot of US states don't have, crucially. What's it like being in that market? How do you kind of stand out? Because a great market, but it's also very competitive.
Yeah, it's quite early days for us. We don't have the biggest footprint just yet, but if you ask me again in around a month's time with some of the upcoming launches that we have, it's going to be a very different story. So I think for us, having this, definitely the varied game content that we do offer definitely helps for the Ontario market. Our sister company in Glitnor, the B2C, they also have some presence within the Ontario market. So it's really good for us to be able to leverage our games across the group and our partner, as well as then into other operators that we serve in the market. So while it is ultra competitive, we still think it represents a great opportunity, really good player value if you can manage to build a strong brand presence within the market, which we aim to do by working with some of the largest in the market. Then of course it's going to help us in the long run.
Mm-hmm. And I take your point about being early in Ontario, but obviously Alberta, there's talk of what kind of people are expecting that market to maybe regulate iGaming around next year. Seeing as you're in Ontario already, is that kind of a natural progression? Would that market interest you guys?
So one of the advantages of being in Ontario, we can start to understand what to expect from other provinces. There's no guarantee they work exactly the same, but we'd expect some synergy. The operators that we work with already within the Ontario market are likely to expand into Alberta. So it gives us the advantage of knowing that we can immediately hit the ground running, that there'll be a number of different brands available to us as soon as we get some games certified and we can enter the market. So it's likely, no guarantees just yet. It depends. We have some other markets in mind that we aim to enter that are definitely much more strategically advantageous and tailored to our portfolio. But it's definitely one of considerable interest for us, especially given some of our upcoming partnerships, as I mentioned.
Mm-hmm, sure. Wanted to perhaps quick word on Greece because. Just remembering back to the Gambling Insider magazine interview, I remember you talking about that as a market of promise for you guys.
Yeah, the Greek market. So there are some technical requirements that we've been working on to get ourselves live in the Greek market alongside some other projects. We're still getting these over the line. So we haven't yet launched within Greece, but it definitely remains one of our goals within the next couple of months to get live in the market. We have signed a deal with one of the largest brands in the market as well, which is important for us to be able to roll out effectively into Greece, but it definitely remains over the next coming months one of our top priorities.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So we've talked a lot about kind of games and markets that you're releasing games in. I remember, a year ago we spoke about the Swintt Platform, which was, in your words, kind of very much about modernizing the business, and there were kind of promotional tools there, gamification, and retention tools. That is now I mean, it always was, but it's more than ever talked about, and it's really important in the industry. What do you think of where the industry has kind of gone in its focus on these particular features?
It's really impressive to see. It seems like a lot of our competitors in the market have really come out with some really exciting and interesting gamification tools. There's some really cutting edge products out there, and it's really refreshing to see that people can still think outside the box and find some products. And that goes across jackpot tools, gamification, tournaments, engagement tools for players as well. From our side, we've had the Swintt Gamified product. We've obviously looked at how we can engage with tournaments boost our retention and in-game. Our focus on modernising the business with the Swintt platform, we focused a lot more on the fundamentals before really trying to push our development towards the more promotional product side. However, it's definitely something you have to be aware of and tap into, especially looking at some of the, there's been acquisitions in the last few months of jackpot tools, for example, that are really popular. So definitely important. But our focus was getting the Elysium content ready and out there so we can actually leverage some really quality content and offer it to our partners.
Mm-hmm. On the kind of industry-wide perspective, do you think in the next few years we can hopefully see a little bit more of a shift towards kind of better retention, as opposed to, the industry has historically been very kind of acquisition focused?
I would expect so. Yeah, I think there's going to be a kind of curve point when how many more players can you acquire consistently until you're actually eating too much into your margins, especially in regulated markets, and you have really high affiliation costs in some other markets as well. So I would definitely expect so. As a provider, it's so competitive. You have to look for any edge that you can get. So we definitely have to be able to look into what we can do in order to retain our players and keep them on Swintt games, be that offering fantastic game content, unique mechanics, different types of features, or retention and engagement tools.
A final topic I wanted to present to you is it's kind of a mix of obviously something that's extremely topical in AI, but again, it was something that you kind of talked about in the Gambling Insider interview in the magazine recently. Now, I will point out, at no point did you say kind of you don't use AI, you don't think it's going to grow the industry or anything like that. You didn't say anything ridiculous, but you did say something quite refreshing. You said AI is kind of a means to an end. And certainly, don't let me misquote you if there's an element of paraphrasing here. But that you're very people oriented and people first. Is that something you're kind of still standing true to?
Yes, I think it's definitely important to have the people first mindset, especially if you're looking at tools. AI tools they're literally there to serve a purpose, and I think ultimately it's the experience and the knowledge that people within our teams have to be able to utilize these tools as a means to an end. But there will be advantages, there will be uses for AI without a doubt. But yeah, for us, making sure that we have the right experience and the right people in the team to be able to grow the business effectively, produce amazing products, and serve our customers as best we can is going to be the most important. I think you have to wonder at what point does the AI, how would you say, craze end? You can nowadays you can simulate yourself on AI and take phone calls and take video meetings so that you don't have to attend. This isn't one of those, just for a disclaimer. But, at what point does it end, and can you then shift back to focusing on people? So for us, we keep that in mind.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's something I can certainly agree with. As you say, who knows when kind of this AI craze will come to an end, or who knows if in 50 years, AI completely takes over. But for now, I think the industry at large is kind of supporting what we're saying here, that it's people first. People are hugely important. AI helps maybe tweak things here and there in the right direction.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to continue to grow, and how we can use it. It's still so early in the AI infancy kind of stage. So obviously it's important that people don't run away with it and assume it's going to be the ultimate answer to every question that we have within the industry. For now, I think we can definitely still rely on people's experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, David, thanks very much again for your time. Always a pleasure to have you on. Best of luck with all your ventures. As you say, a busy time, and there's only more that you're going to aim for, right?
Yeah, exactly. We're now coming into Q4 soon, and it's going to be really exciting as we continue to get a number of games out. I just want to definitely highlight the Elysium content that we have coming over the next few months. There's some games in there that the team have been working on for quite some time. I Hate Fairy Tales and Chessmas, and these are really beautiful games, really exciting with features, and I think the team can be really proud of what they've developed. So we are super excited to get it out in the market, and we can't wait to see how the players react as well.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing that content out, and thanks again for your time, David.
Yeah, thanks very much, Tim. Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks. And to our viewers, thanks for watching.